Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvavighnopashantaye. Om. Dear friends, we are seeing the first chapter of the Gita, which is called Arjuna Vishada Yoga. We were just seeing how Arjuna is getting into that mood of despondency. Arjuna came prepared for the battle. Dhanu Rudyamya, he raised his bow and wanted to go into the middle of the battlefield and then see with all whom he has to fight with. And after seeing them, then he got dispirited. He fell into a despair. So that is what he was saying. And and we were just seeing this line. All these people are atatayinaha. Atatayi, actually according to Dharma Shastra, atatayi is a person who has to be killed at sight. That's what it says, Dharma Shastra says. And now he says, Papameva Ashrayedasman. So he has got his distorted perception of justice. His sense of justice has got distorted because he is now seeing them as all relatives, friends, and his own cousins, uncles, and whatnot. So that aham and mama, I and mine, so that thing has deluded the judgment of Arjuna. So when a person gets into what is called moha or a delusion, naturally the sense of judgment gets distorted. That's what we are going to see. So he says, Tasman narhavayam hantum dhartarashtran swabandhavan. We are not justified in killing our own relatives, he says. And swajanam hi katham hatva sukhinasyama madhava. Oh Madhava, how can Madhava is another name for Krishna. Madhava, Ma means Lakshmi, Madhava, Dhava means husband. Madhava is husband of that Lakshmi. How can we be happy? Swajanam hatva, by killing our own people, how can we be happy? Then yadyapyetena pashyanti lobhopahata chetasaha kulakshaya krutam dosham mitradrohecha patakam. Even if these people so totally blinded by their greed, he says, lobha upahata chetasaha, their minds have been hijacked by lobha. Lobha means greed. Lobha upahata cheta. Chetas means mind. Lobha means greed. Upahata means it has been withdrawn or hijacked. So this lobha, greed has hijacked their judgment. Greed has hijacked their sense of right and wrong. So though these people are like that, we are not like that. He says, kulakshaya krutam dosham mitradrohecha patakam. All this dosha, when we fight, naturally this kulakshaya, all this clan, the entire Kuru clan is going to die. And katham nagneyam asmabhihi papadasman nivartitum kulakshaya krutam dosham prapasyadbhir janardana. O Janardana, how can we, asmabhihi, how can we do that? Those people may be blinded by passion, blinded by greed, but we are not like that. No, katham nagneyam asmabhihi, how is it that we will follow them? How is that we can do in a similar way? And this kulakshaya krutam dosham, we see this dosha, they are not seeing the dosha. So that is why they are coming for war. We know that this is something which is wrong. So how can we do it? Janardana. Again, Janardana, as I said, Janardana means a person who ensures that you get the good or bad result of whatever good or bad action you have done. So if a man has done some good action, he will naturally get good result. And a person who has done bad action, he will naturally get the bad result. So that is what is the duty of Janardana. Then Arjuna is giving some more logic. He is giving some more logic. Kulakshaye pranasyanti. He is just visualizing a situation where all the clan is killed. And when all the important people are killed, naturally, Kulakshaya, when this Kulakshaya happens, then whatever are the Kula Dharma, all those Kula Dharmas, they will be discontinued, they will be forgotten, they will just die down. That is what he says. Kulakshaye pranasyanti Kula Dharmas sanatanaha dharme nashte kulam kursnam adharmo bhibhavatyuta. Then he says, when this clan dies or perishes like this, then Kula Dharmaha sanatanaha. He is using two contradicting words in one expression. Kula Dharmaha sanatanaha. There is what is called Sanatana Dharma. There is what is called Kula Dharma. There is a lot of difference between Sanatana Dharma and Kula Dharma. Sanatana in Sanskrit means Sanatana Sadatanaha, says Amarakosha. There is a dictionary in Sanskrit. We know that it is called Amarakosha. That Amarakosha says Sanatana means Sadatana. That is that which are always applicable, not only for India, everywhere. Sanatana Dharma is something which is applicable to all humanity. That is what dharma should be. Is not something which has to be applicable to a particular type of people, in a particular place, in a particular time. Not like that. It is not limited by space, time and all that. So it is something which is applicable to all humanity at all times. So that is what is Sanatana Dharma. Satyam Vada, Dharmanchara. So such lines. Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava. These are Sanatana Dharmas. Then here, Kula Dharma is something which is slightly different. Kula Dharma means, suppose there is a particular clan. And here, of course, if we see, if we want to think of some examples, suppose you see some marriage customs, marriage rituals. In South India, if you see in Telugu, particularly in Andhra Pradesh, if we see, the bride is brought in a small, some sort of basket, some bamboo basket. That is one particular dharma in a particular place. And if it is not done, people will feel rather bad. And in some other place, there is a sort of yoke. If you see a bullock cart, there is a yoke. So that yoke is brought and held on the head of that bride and that particular bridegroom. So that is basically to symbolize that the bride and the bridegroom, they are like the two bulls who have to draw the cart called samsara. That family, that samsara, is something like a bullock cart. And in that bullock cart, both the bulls, they are equal. Of course, one is a bull and one is a cow. Both have equal standing. In fact, there are mantras. If you see marriage mantras, those marriage mantras, they say you have to draw or rather pull the chariot of this samsara equally, with equal responsibility. So the man and the woman, they do have equal responsibility in a marriage. So it is not as though the man is superior. If we really read our old mantras, man and woman, they are both equal in marriage. So Kula Dharma, okay, that what is called kadi or whatever, that yoke is kept there. And again, some people, they put what is called a jira and what is called gud on the head. These are all various small practices which are called Kula Dharma. So these Kula Dharmas are actually subordinate to the Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is adharma has to be punished, dharma has to be rewarded. That is the Sanatana Dharma. Whereas Arjuna is forgetting the major aspect. Arjuna is forgetting the Sanatana Dharma and he is talking about or worried about the Kula Dharma. Then dharmena ste kulam krusnam adharmo bhavatyuta. If dharma perishes, if this Kula Dharma perishes, then all type of adharma creeps in, adharma overtakes, adharma gains ground. Then adharma vibhavat Krishna pradushyanti kula striyah. Then strishu dushtasu arshneya jayate varna sankaraha. Adharma vibhavat. When adharma gains ground, what happens? The women will become unchaste. Pradushyanti kula striyah. This of course is a valid point. Pradushyanti kula striyah. The kula striyah, all the women, they become unchaste. They become polluted. And strishu dushtasu varshneya. Varshneya is another name for Krishna. He is from a particular clan called Vrushni Vamsha. So that is why he is called Varshneya. And strishu dushtasu. When women get polluted or women become unchaste, then jayate varna sankaraha. This varna, the system of varna will collapse. Of course, here a little bit of explanation is needed. That is, strishu dushtasu varshneya. That is, in olden days, we laid a lot of premium on building up women in the proper way, or rather raising women in a proper ethical atmosphere. So, in fact, the women were supposed to be the custodians of dharma. In this context, one of my teachers, he quoted one sutra from Apastamba Gruhya Sutram. There is one text called Apastamba Gruhya Sutram. All of us, we belong to various traditions. And in South India, this Apastamba tradition is very popular. Similarly, Ashwalayana and some other Gruhya Sutras are there. There, all types of etiquette they are mentioned. So in that Gruhya Sutra, there is one particular sutra which says, after mentioning all various dharmas for various occasions, lastly he says, Avrutascha astribhyah pratiyeran. That is, whatever has been left out, avrutaha, astribhyah, from the women of all communities, not only women of one particular community, from the women of all varnas, astribhyah pratiyeran. One has to observe, one has to learn from them, and one has to follow. Because the women are supposed to be the custodians of dharma. In Dharma Shastra, they may write so many things for various occasions. On this occasion, this has to be done. On this occasion, this has to be done. And whatever has been forgotten or left out, you please learn from the women. So it is a very important statement which shows that women were supposed to be the people who were in charge of dharma, who were actually custodians of dharma. So, Strishu Dushtasu Varshneya. So, that is the reason why even now there is a great responsibility for the parents to bring up particularly the girl children in a slightly ethical manner. If we all keep on watching some stupid thing on the TV or something like that, and now of course all our time is taken away in all this WhatsApp and all these things. So if we keep on spending our time, naturally the child also spends the time in the same way. And all that ethical training which used to be there, even in my time, even when I was a child, till recent years, of course, this ethical training was very much there in the families. But now that ethical training is collapsing because the parents themselves are glued to the TV. Naturally, the children are also there in their own room watching something else. So where is the question of ethical training? So we have to plan in such a way that some amount of ethical content is there in their grooming. So that is what we have to learn here. And Strishu Dushtasu Varshneya Jayate Varna Sankaraha. Of course, Varna is another word. It is a rather contentious word, or rather debate, a word which is in debate. Varna is something which is not caste. We are going to see this in chapter 4. What is Varna and what is caste? We are going to see in greater detail. I will explain at that time what is Varna and Varna Sankara, etc. But right now, Arjuna is saying, oh, if the women get unchaste, there will be Varna Sankara and all that. Then Sankaro Narakayaiva Kulagdhananam Kulasyacha. And Patanti Pitaro Hyasham Lupta Pindodaka Kriyaha. And if women, they deteriorate like that, then what happens? Then all the people will go to Narakam only. All the people, Kulaghananam, the people who are responsible for the death of that clan. That means you and I. That is what he says. You and I, we are here in the battlefield, we are fighting them, and the entire clan is going to be destroyed, and you and I are going to Naraka. We are going to hell. We are about to go to hell because we are destroying this clan. And not only we, Patanti Pitaro Hyesham, even the Pitaraha, our Pitru Devatas, all the Pitru Devatas, they will also go to hell. Because once you go to hell, naturally there is nobody who is going to give this Pindodaka. On various Shraddha occasions, we are supposed to give this Udakam. In Indian society, we see that all communities, not only the so-called upper caste, but all the communities, we do offer that Udakam at a particular time of the year. Pitru Paksha, what we say, about 15 days in a year, a particular time is there where all the people, they do offer clothes, some amount of food, etc. to poor people, etc. So these are the offerings which we do, and we say that the Pitru Devatas, they become happy in the heavenly worlds. So if all this clan has gone and even we go to hell, then all our Pitra Devatas who are right now enjoying some good lokas, they will also go to hell. So Arjuna is giving a very, very frightening picture. Then Doshaihi etaih Kulagnanam Varnasankarakaihi Utsadyante Jati Dharmaha Kuladharmascha Shashvataha. With all these things, for all these defects, Doshaihi etaih, there are so many defects, there are so many infirmities, there are so many problems in this particular war. So we are not supposed to go ahead with this. Utsadyante Jati Dharmaha, all the Jati Dharmas, they are going to be uprooted. Kula Dharmascha Shashvata, he says. And Kula Dharmas are not Shashvata. Kula Dharma is something which is applicable to a particular clan at a particular time. So that is what Arjuna is saying. Arjuna is using certain contradictory words. Then Utsanna Kula Dharmanam Manushyanam Janardana Narake Niyatam Vaso Bhavati Tyanushrama. And all the elders say that for those people who destroy this Kula Dharma, they are bound to go to hell. Niyatam, Narake, Niyatam Vasaha. Surely they are going to Naraka. That means we are all going to Narakam. Then Ahobata Mahapapam Kartum Yavasitavayam Yad Rajya Sukhalobhena Hantum Swajana Mudyataha. Because of the greed for this kingdom, Rajya Sukha Lobhena. Lobha means greed. Greed is supposed to be one of the six enemies for a human being. there are 6 enemies, that is Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha and Matsarya. Moha, Mada, Matsarya, 6 are there. Kama is desire, and desire leads to Krodha. So desire, if it is not fulfilled, there is some obstacle in between, then that results in Krodha. Then once you attain that, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, you want to keep it with you only, you don't want to share it. Then again, Moha, you get deluded. Moha, Mada means proud. Oh, I am this big, etc. And Matsarya, if somebody else is also having it, you are also jealous of him. So one leading to the other, one leading to the other. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, they say. So out of these, Yad Rajya Sukha Lobhena, we are becoming greedy for this Rajya Sukham. And Hantum Swajana Mudyataha, we are now prepared to kill our own people. And Yadimam Apratikaram Ashastram Shastrapanayah Dhartarashtraha Rane Hanyuhu Tanme Kshemataram Bhavet. I am not going to fight, and Mam Apratikaram, I will stay, I will not fight back. And when I am here not fighting back, even then Shastrapanayah, they come with weapons, and they may attack me, they may kill me. Dhartarashtraha Rane Hanyuhu, they may kill me. Tanme Kshemakaram Bhavet, that is Kshemam for me. That is Shemam means that is good. In what sense? I may die, but the entire kulam will be preserved. That is what is his logic. Then, of course, the final shloka of this adhyaya, this is 47th adhyaya, 47th shloka. Now, Sanjaya is narrating what all Arjuna had to say, he said. And now, Sanjaya is saying, Eva muktva Arjuna sankhye rathopastha upavishat. Visrujya sasharam shapam shoka samvignamanasah. Then having said this, Eva muktva, having said this, then rathopastha upavishat. Ratha upastha. Upastha means the base of the chariot. Just Arjuna, the Gandivam just slipped from his hand, his bow and arrow slipped from his hand, and he just collapsed, or rather he just sat down at the base of the chariot. Visrujya sasharam chapam, that is his sword and all the arrows, they just left, and shoka samvigna manasaha, totally overwhelmed by sorrow. So if we just see this particular scene, what is it that we are seeing? Arjuna got suddenly sentimental. He got overwhelmed with compassion, and he forgot his dharma, and he lost his sense of judgment. And it is like a judge. Suppose a judge is there, and a judge is supposed to judge a situation and give punishment to the wrongdoer. Suppose the judge gets sentimental. A judge may have compassion, but he should not become sentimental. And in his sense of, with all the sense of sentimentalism, he is not supposed to acquit a criminal. Because if a criminal is acquitted, naturally that is something which is injustice. Adandyan Dandayan Raja, the Dharma Shastra says, Adandyan Dandayan Raja, Dandyan Shaiva Pyadandayan. Suppose a person who does not deserve to be punished, if the king punishes him, the king goes to hell. Similarly, Dandyan Shaiva Pyadandayan, a person who deserves to be punished, if you are not punishing him, he will also go to hell. Ayasham Mahadapnoti, the king, first of all, in this world, he gets bad name. Ayasham, Yashaha means fame. Ayasham means bad name. Ayashaha param apnoti, then narakam cha gachati. Last line it says. So he also goes to narakam. In this world, he gets a bad name, and again, he also attains naraka. So a person, a wrongdoer, has to be punished, and a person who is in the righteous path has to be protected. So that is what is dharma. Of course, now it is slightly different. The modern jurisprudence says, let 100 criminals go free. Let not one innocent be punished. So that is the basic dictum of modern jurisprudence. So that is the reason why we say, not in all countries, but in some countries. But of course, here, of course, in the context of Gita, we see that Arjuna is getting confused about his dharma. He is basically a Kshatriya, and as a Kshatriya, his dharma is Raja Dharma. And Raja Dharma he wants to abandon. And then, of course, in the second chapter, we are going to see, I want to even go do Bhikshatanam. So he wants to give up his dharma, and in fact, it is better to live by begging. That is what he is going to say. So Rajadharma is something which is totally contradicting Sannyasi Dharma. So Arjuna is somebody in this particular chapter who is forgetting his Rajadharma. And if you think of this Rajadharma, in our history also we find some instances like that. For example, some kings they forgot Rajadharma. For example, if we see the last great king of India, was Sriharsha. If you see the empire of Sriharsha, he had his huge empire right up to Afghanistan. And when he adopted Buddhism, his entire army was disbanded. And when the army was disbanded, the entire kingdom broke into small pieces and the invaders could happily come. So that is what we see in our history. The only country which was not invaded, in spite of being Buddhist, was China. Because China, they made a balance. They had a good balance between Buddhism and Rajadharma. So that is what we see. We'll continue next. Harihi Om Tat Sat.